Recording in progress.
Mine does that once in a while, depending on how you push the power button. You gotta hold it.
I had to hold it in for like 30 seconds.
Mine does that.
And then-
Good order.
Good Lord. Worst case is you stop on it before you leave today and it'll be all better next week because you'll have a new one.
I'll drop it on the way up the steps.
He's recording.
Yes. That's not good.
He was just joking.
I'm admitting a lot of people. They're joining us, so we're just about ready to start here. Cindy Thompson's coming in.
Rick.
Yeah, you know that.
I emailed you that.
Yeah, you did.
That's okay.
I didn't know if it needed any battery or anything. Is it? Look. All right.
Oh. Here we go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. Call our meeting to order. We have a forum. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, motion carries. Rich?
Good morning.
Morning.
On the agenda, we have the resolution for the approval of the project that was left February, project, the S2P project. I've reviewed the documents and I'm going to recommend we award the contract to Hewland Brothers. I'm not mistaken. And so the resolution allows me to sign the contract for the DOT and Doc, for you guys in Doc Express. And then we'll award the contract. We'll get the ball rolling.
We need a motion to,
Is there a motion for resolution 2023-04 for approval of the Thresh Avenue paving project and the county engineer authorization to sign contract document in the Doc Express? Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on it? All roll call vote. Smeby?
Aye.
Stone?
Aye.
Lowberg, aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. You can just send me a copy of that. Jeff. I'm working with WHS 70 Smith. Proposal to review our bridges for postings for the annual oversize or annual overweight permit. And so what we're looking at is any bridge that we don't have, any bridge that's already posted or we don't have any information for, probably won't get reviewed because got most of it, but if it's already posted, it's not going to take any more weight to allow. So similar to what Saragordo County did is they'll look and say, okay, these are the locations we think we can review the bridges, and then he's going to give us $1,500. I can't remember what the exact numbers were to the $1,800 are in that ballpark on evaluating what locations we can review, and then load rating those bridges for the. So right now, we're still going to try to review places or road routes that don't have bridges on them to open up. But it's kind of a systematic thing where I can open up a mile of road, but if you can't go anywhere else, what's the point? And if you open up a mile of gravel road and you can't work on the highway, then why would you get all systems for that? So we're going to review some of that stuff here. We're continuing to review it, but in the meantime, we're going to probably go ahead and have our consultant look at some of those bridges
Well, probably if we go the route of doing so, we're gonna have to sign the whole county. And you're saying if we can't, some roads or bridges don't qualify, we're gonna have to.
The ones that won't qualify, yeah, right. They'll probably, or we just won't open them up to the all systems permit. If we find out that they won't take the extra 12%, they'll take the regular legal loads, but they won't necessarily take the all systems permit. So,
12%.
or whatever, I can't remember what is that,
I'd have to read it.
I'd have to look at it.
I think the governor's.
Yeah, I think it's a 12% now.
Well, yeah.
So if we find out, I suppose if we find out that the bridges, it could potentially end up posting some bridges, but that's probably because they wouldn't have been evaluated through the last cycle. And now we're looking at higher loads. I mean, we did the special haul vehicles already, but potentially we could say, well, it doesn't qualify for the 12%, so we won't open that route to an oversight permit. So we'll just kind of keep proceeding with that and take a look and see what we come up with in the end.
Do we have to participate in any of this?
By 2025, we have to either tell the DOT we're not going to, well, I'm trying to remember how that read now. We have to be compliant by 2025. So I'm trying to remember if that means we have to let the DOT, I think we have to participate by 2025, I think is how it works.
Well, if we get to that point where there's so much stuff it's not worth it, then I say we don't do any of it. And then does that, open us up? Maybe they'll think, wow, these guys really do need more funding to do for roads and bridges.
Or you'll know where our routes are and we don't have very many open. I mean, what we have posted right now in our counties, if it's not posted, it takes legal loads. If it's posted, it's because of a special haul type configuration. Now we're going to evaluate it for higher loads due to the all systems.
Right. Well, another thing that bothers me is that every time you design something, now you got to design it at a higher standard.
Well, and we have been for a while. So a lot of the newer stuff kind of already is,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. It's
So
now,
we're in compliance pretty much with the stuff we've been doing.
I mean, according to what the design standards have been, we've been in compliance with the new design standards.
Right.
But I don't know what the future is going to hold if we keep loading up everything, Obviously you design it at HL 93 loads and then you're running your standard loads. So the repetition of those is less stress on the structures themselves, but now you're adding 12% more and it's not a linear increase in stress loads. If you increase your loads by 12%, well, the damage is not 12% more damage, it's actually higher. So in a way, it's kind of confusing why the legislature would allow one. I understand why people want to have higher loads. It's less travel for them to haul more. But at the same time, we're damaging our infrastructure at a higher rate now because of it. So
Right.
either way, we're paying for it in the end. It's just a matter of how long it takes.
I know, the more you get, the more they take, but a lot of people I've talked to says, no, I really don't need it to vote. I just,
Yeah. Right.
I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what they give you, you're gonna take it. If they give you 12, you're probably gonna push 13.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah. It's look at that with the consultant, just see where we end up with what we have going on. Because we want to, if we find some, the crazy thing is, Highway 105, it's one of our main routes through the county. We've got posted bridges on it already that we're not going to make them any better until we fix them or replace them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a major route already that won't qualify for the all systems permit.
Wheelerwood gets a lot of traffic.
Wheelerwood too, and right now I think we're to look to see if we're okay on that one or not.
Well, there's
I don't-
3 bridges there south of the, or south.
They're posted for special haul, I think. So we'll look at those and see if they can take. So we'll look at a lot of those routes, but I'm gonna guess there's not gonna be a whole lot of them.
Right.
And then the crazy thing is well, yeah, we'll allow the all systems permit, which is 12% over what the standard is, but you can't run them on the interstate. You can't run them on the federal system, but we can destroy the local systems.
That's what kind of bothers me, but. I mean, I understand that. It's like, in all honesty, it's just gonna base more benefit people passing through because the short haul guys really, that little bit, I mean, we got an elevator every 5 miles in this county.
Not too far away. It's like, yeah, that little extra weight's okay, but do they need it,
Right.
for as much damage as you can.
And to me, I guess, yeah, the roads get beat up, but like I've said before, it's easy to drive. It's not comfortable, but it's easier to drive on a really crappy road than it is to drive over a crappy bridge. I mean,
So our bridges over the interstate affected, or they're not our bridges.
they're the
State.
federal, the state
So-
maintains them like they do the federal system. That's a good question,
I've always
because
thought that even.
they're the ones that evaluate the bridges.
I'm not sure technically if you're allowed to cross them even during the government. Vaccination.
That's a good question. I'll have to ask that because I'm not quite sure.
Because if that's the situation, that's what's accounting when I'm quite that, but basically, that's correct.
Yeah, you-
use them anyway, you can't cross the interstate.
We've got to,
You know,
You're not gonna take 90,000 to the ethanol plant, because you gotta get across there.
I mean,
But you're already on that side.
if that was all reality, it's pretty easy for the DOT to sit there every day and just pick up wherever they wanted to, you know.
yeah,
I don't know the rules on it.
that's a good question because I never really gave that much of a thought.
Because I know during the 90,000, I think you pretty much avoided the interstate, you took all the back roads.
Well, I think if I want to look at it, I think that I-35 is a federal system
Right,
and
you get the state maintains.
the state maintains it. I don't know if the bridges are federal bridges because they go over the system, because they're in the
Yeah.
federal right of way, but they're still not federal highway.
But one of them goes bad, we don't fix them.
We don't,
Right,
but
painfully.
because it carries a local system road,
Right.
is it considered the federal system? I believe it's probably, I'll have to check, but it's a good question
I mean, and I would hope the powers to be have already thought of that situation.
because they evaluate those bridges. We don't.
And
That's
they
good.
maintain them and they take them to everything.
Well, on certain, we're required to maintain the guardrails and damages that way, but as far as replacements and things like that, that's the state fed duo there. And then one other thing. Every 4 years, the Transportation Research Board has their low volumes road conferences. And it's not just the country, it's kind of a global meeting. And this year it's been a while, but this year it's in Cedar Rapids. And the Iowa County Engineers Association is hosting the event. So I'm hoping I can get permission from you guys to go to that. It's a couple days. And I think too that, and I'll try to, they're looking for people to,
Concrete,
yeah, well, no, moderate sessions.
okay.
And if I moderate, I can get a cheaper
Well,
rate.
It's a good learning experience.
I think it is too. And we're not talking, we're talking national and we're talking global. There are people from other countries that come to this too. So I think it's a good,
I'd say.
I think the registrations are fairly reasonable. I mean, I don't go to NACE every year. I kind of go when it's close because it's a lot of travel. If you go, there's a lot of other county engineers who go to NACE. They go to a lot of things and good for them. I just don't necessarily feel I have the time to go to all that stuff, but they're good networking meetings and you learn a lot as far as what other people are doing and maybe we can give some more. So if it's okay, I'll try to sign up for something like that.
Fine with me.
All right. Appreciate that. We're trying to fix the roads when we can. I mean, they're sloppy, they're wet, they're rutted. We're doing what we can.
Why are they falling apart so bad this spring?
We're getting an early frost, or frost
Is
is
it-
coming out early.
Yeah, I wonder if we lost the top inch or two of frost, I think, and you got a layer.
Uh-huh.
And water is just sitting there.
Yep.
'Cause some are worse than others, I just noticed.
Yeah,
Especially right when they grade them. It's like holy buckets.
yeah, we're trying to do it while they're a little stiff yet, so we don't rut them up because we're just making more damage. But
Yeah,
I will say that when the wind towers came in and what they did in the northeast corner,
that's taken care of.
oh my gosh. Those roads are pretty nice.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they washboard a little bit, but
Right.
they are not
It stays firm.
soft. Oh, yeah.
That's a lot.
Good.
Well, there's a lot of rock on those roads and there's sub base stabilization under some of those. They're a lot different than some of the other roads.
It's good.
But
That'll be something to look forward to.
When you consider what they stuck into those roads, the millions they stuck into those roads just so they could travel on them. That's a heck of a benefit to us.
Yeah, that goes forward for maintenance and things for them too.
You bet.
Yeah.
So That's all I've got for you this morning.
Anything else for Rich, guys? Thank you. Oh, I didn't see it. Was there any drainage studies? I didn't think so. How about claims? I'll take a motion to approve the claims.
You want expense.
A motion to approve, the regular claims and the payroll claims.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any liquor license? ISAC benefits renewal FY 24.
Just approving what we've already discussed with Ryan and making it official for FY 24.
Take a motion to approve these.
I will make that motion.
There are seconds.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So you'll sign the first 4 pages, I think, and then where the orange is too.
There you go.
You're the authorized guy. Oops. I forgot to report.
Oh. We have a report from the sheriff's department.
Motion to approve the sheriff's report.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any place?
Yeah.
Let's sign that one where the, oh,
Well,
there was 2 orange stickers on there?
we'll go later. That's okay.
Dorsey and Whitney legal service engagement letter on the 6 million general obligation urban renewal bond.
Last page. Kind of a necessary thing.
Get
I'll
them
take a
going to do
motion
their
to,
portion.
what's that?
Get them going to do their portion of our next step. I'll motion to approve the legal services engagement letter with Dorsey and Whitney.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the legal service engagement letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's good. And Heidi's on, if anybody has questions or anything on this one for the resolution for the public hearing.
You want to skip down to that right now?
Let's just go to the office quick.
Let's do the what?
Oath of office,
Oh.
so it's done. Jake or Amy was out, so we couldn't swear all them in at the same time, so I finally got them signed, so we can approve the deputies for the treasurer's office.
I will make a motion to approve the deputies for the treasurer's office.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There's 3 of those.
Anybody find, did you get hold of?
Yeah, I
Anybody-
haven't heard back from Tim yet. I gotta talk to him this week on some other stuff, so. I'll keep working with him.
Did you get an email back from Chris as far as there was any more real estate people in this work count?
No, I haven't,
I think she.
but I think she was gone.
She on vacation this week, I think. so.
Okay. Melissa, are you on?
Good morning.
Morning.
I just have a couple of trainings with the local EDCs at the end of this week, and then yeah, I think that's about it. We had the Worth County Legislative Forum in Manly on Friday. That went pretty well.
Thank you, Melissa.
But
I'm gonna wait till. Yeah. this one. Resolution to fix a date for public hearing on proposal to enter a general obligation urban renewal loan agreement and to borrow money thereunder.
Hit the news. Okay, we are setting a date for what we just approved, or you just engaged on, so
Right.
here's the resolution. It's on March 27th. And what time do you wanna do, like 9 o'clock?
First meeting.
Yeah.
And Heidi, do you have anything to add?
Don't, unless there's any questions, just today, you're just setting a date for a public hearing, March 27th at 9 o'clock.
So that I can put it in the paper and all that good stuff?
Yep.
So you'll need a motion.
Make motions to put. It's 327 and
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, that motion carries.
And I just need you to sign 2 places there. So.
Anything else to sign?
Nope, that's it for that.
EMS continued discussion. Find out anybody got anything new?
And you let me know if you ever want that off.
What's that?
Let me know if you ever want that off of the agenda.
Oh,
Did you guys see
gotcha.
the email from Melissa Morris?
Yep.
Yes.
They really want to go out and try to get this thing going. I think they want to see more than a volunteer. I think they want to see a full-time service, which a lot of us do. But obviously to do that, we gotta go through the whole process again.
we're gonna fund it the way they written. suggested,
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You really have no other options for funding at this point
right,
unless legislation changes.
yeah, well, we doubt that's gonna happen
Hmm.
too easily.
It's not even on the docket.
No,
So, and a funnel week's already here, so that
Yeah.
tells you one thing, they're thinking about going home already, so.
I'd still like to see what the township trustees do as far as who wants to go north. I want to see how it breaks out.
but yeah,
They-
when are they gonna decide that?
They're working on it right now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because I mean. If
The
this
city
gonna go on
council's
the-
got a date, they're meeting tonight with city council on some things. Then after that, they'll,
and say otherwise, I mean. If it's to get on the ballot for this November without doing a special election, then it's we gotta keep this process moving.
You couldn't make, I think she was said about the school board elections and piggybacking, but I don't think we could get it done by going through the process. again.
Yeah, we'd have to do the
and that's what we did last time. We rushed it a little bit.
resolutions, the 3 readings and.
You have to get it on the general, and that's the information wasn't out there, so. I don't think we should push it. I think the information needs to get out there.
I know
What
for
people
myself,
want, what they wanna do.
I know for myself, and I pretty much guess most people on the western side of the county are happy with the services they have. It'd be just if we have to pay for them, we gotta figure out how we're gonna do it. I mean, versus what we've been doing. And, you know,
Yeah,
service wise, I mean, I don't mean this a bad way. I'm not gonna get any better service by having a countywide EMS. You know, even if it's centrally located, I mean, Forest City, like Mel's, as long as they're staffed properly, have been able to serve that part of the county, no problem. Same timely manner.
And the 3 ambulances are volunteer.
Yep.
So I don't really knock this volunteer. part
No.
either.
And if you go for the vote again, should the townships have to pay more?
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's, and I mean, that's, how do you fund that properly and fairly when, you know, I mean, I said I get it, always use that word cheaper, but if, you know, it's financially responsible, it's, why should my township, you know, if it could be taken care of there, or townships be funding the whole county? I mean,
Why should,
it's kind of, I get it,
why
but
should 4 townships on the western edge help pay for the other townships?
Yeah.
That's my theory.
if you're breaking.
And
it
if
up,
you do, and if Northwood gets this thing up and running by July 1st with volunteer help plus the EMTs, gradually down the road, they're probably gonna have to do something different either, but I think they'd be leaning more towards the Winnebago way of doing it than having on duty 24/7 sitting in the fire hall.
Yeah.
And if you take out even 3 townships or 5 townships, I think this bill should get negotiated. I still don't know how they came up. I see somewhat of how they came up with 292,000, but
You haven't seen a number.
yeah,
You've seen one number.
say one number off them,
just-
where 90% of it's gonna help pay. It's gonna pay for 90% of the wages, and then the rest of it's gonna, I haven't got enough numbers in front of
No
me.
matter what happens, we'll make sure the county's covered one way or another.
Yep.
I mean, we're gonna have to figure out what's, we have to figure out, but that's for the county wide overall.
right now, the way things are going, there will be no such thing as a countywide.
No,
No,
well, there isn't right now.
Right, and there won't be the way things are going because we're gonna have, it's gonna be, the lines are getting drawn.
it wasn't countywide to start with.
Well, the goal was to try to get it to be a countywide where the county paid for it, the county, you know, use the service. You're still gonna utilize your Lake Mills and your Forest City, and then you'll have whoever, you know, if there was centrally located. But at least you had the ability to have 24/7 coverage in the county. That will not happen. Unless it goes back to county, otherwise you're gonna have volunteers at Lake Mills, you're gonna have Forest City, you'll have volunteers at Northwood. I mean, it's separating everything out, so kind of, you're just basically drawing lines that.
I thought them 4 townships were always out of it.
It potentially could have been. I mean, it all depends on
That's
how it
what I-
worked out, but I think, you know, if we were actually gonna do a full-fledged central with the county type of situation, we probably would have. We still probably would have had a piggybacked, I think.
That's
Well,
what I
and I think you're still, no matter how it works. out,
You're sitting right outside Lake Mills. Why would you send somebody from Kensett?
Right, yeah, I mean, you're literally,
You're sitting
A
right
mile and a
outside
half.
Forest City. You don't send somebody from Kensett down there.
because Worth County runs within a half mile of Lake Mills.
So.
No, we got a ways to go. I mean,
I think there's,
we just need to make sure that, you know, for this year, we kind of, you know, we're gonna cover some of this cost somewhere, which there again,
and I don't think there's
Why-
a July 1st deadline. I read both them letters over again. Nobody said anything about a July 1st. They said we would like you to talk about,
we were talking about using some of this COVID money for covering.
yeah, but there's no rush
But-
on it or
So
anything
the
like
city's
that.
got COVID money too. Shouldn't they participate in this too? Every town got COVID money, didn't they?
I know that Manly and Northwood did, right?
I think everybody gets some.
So I mean.
Where is it gone?
So why is
Why is the county coming up with all of it?
100% of this?
I'm not. I'm
Like
basically
over
waiting
60,
to,
yeah, over
I'm waiting to
60%.
see what Northwood ends up. If the city gets behind them and figures out what townships they're gonna cover,
Right, that would help.
you know. And they're working on it. I mean, they just got in the game here, what, a month ago?
Well, look how long it took to do the process we did, yeah, and they're jumping on the game thinking it's not gonna happen overnight. unfortunately, they need to make some decisions, so. You're kind of working with that a little bit.
I keep it contact.
Keep in
with them.
contact with them, so, okay.
Yeah, I just know that they got a meeting tonight that they're gonna make a decision on some stuff.
Okay.
So
Keep us informed.
that's a city.
Right, it's just one town, so.
Sounds good.
But, yeah, I don't want, yeah, we pushed it last time because we wanted to get it on the ballot. And we had to get it on the ballot if we wanted to do anything, and I just don't think there was enough information out there.
People didn't listen either.
That could very well be. Anything on budget?
Mm.
Chris is, I can't even tell whether he's on or not.
No,
You guys
not this week.
got that message I sent you about the water loss out there?
Get meeting figured out.
And I haven't talked to him since then, but what happened was one of those softeners went into standby mode for some reason and wouldn't let you produce water because it won't let water flow through the softening system. And for some reason, our alarm system did not go off and call them sooner when there was certain pressure drop. So by the time he found out, it was, we have no water.
With all we've paid for all those alarms and everything, it's
Yeah,
supposed to.
That's exactly.
So they lose water completely, it just shuts it down, it doesn't bypass.
So it won't kick the wells on to refill the tower, so eventually after so many hours of that,
It's empty.
drain the tower.
Oh, great.
Raise the tower, so then had to go in, he had to go in and physically go into manual mode to get everything going again. To get the tower back up, but he had to do a boil advisory because he had a pressure loss and do some testing, so.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the tests are good. Yeah, why the dialer didn't fall out once, you know, he hit the certain threshold of water pressure. I don't know. That's gotta get figured out, so.
Technology is computer work.
Right. It's great and it's some of the stuff's pretty old school. But kind of fail safe, but
Apparently not.
It all-
This time.
yeah, it all goes that way, so.
At least you didn't end up with water all over the place. That's happened before too.
Yeah,
Yeah, burn things up and.
so luckily, I don't know what, it was in the evening. I want to say, when he called me Friday, Thursday, so then it must have been Wednesday night, evening wise, so I'm assuming. First place notice either would have been the casino or the gas station, probably, but
Do we all know softeners or how was that?
yeah,
Okay.
everything inside that building. is counted.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was part of like a lease system. Where
No, Colligan does all the salt. delivered to the-
Salt service.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You know,
So nothing we could fall back on.
that plant's been a POS since.
Hmm.
It was built.
Built it.
There should have been some legal work done before that thing even got fired up. Once they're having problems off the get go, but that was prior to all of us.
Many years.
Was Chris gonna get back in touch with you?
So I'll get a hold of him today and just see how things are going and see what just to make sure that if there's something that needs to be done, this doesn't happen again, let's get it figured out. So it's been going really good out there.
We made it for a while.
Yeah, everybody has that stuff. You get mechanical there, but still.
Department head discussions. I see you got your two cars.
One in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's one, there's one I'm getting built, and that one will be waiting for parts, that was the extra one, and then. I heard we had one get Cartier this week in one of our cars, I figured that out for sure how bad it
Was the older ones?
Hopefully one will be replacing.
No,
Look, I
Is there any other
already
comments from the department
No.
heads on there?
we still have one.
Oh, one of them?
No, there was just a comment from,
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it.
Okay. Okay, anybody else?
On the training?
Yeah, this is Mark. Next week, I've got the economic recovery tabletop exercise. I know Enos, you said that you're probably going to be coming to that. If any of the other supervisors want to come to that, they're more than welcome. Just let me know.
I'll try, Mark.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Supervisor Weekly, I have nothing.
Port Authority meeting on Monday or Thursday, I mean, we had the Just quickly went over our annual report, we got us into the state. The IEDA because of that grant, so I just want an updated report, just wanted to discuss that, we gotta get a little bit of information. And then Chad will be sending that down before the end of the month. And then I had Care Connections on Tuesday. Actually kind of a quiet agenda. Just had some discussion on what the legislators doing down there. We had a few contract agreements or addendums to make. And otherwise, that was fairly quiet this go around, so see what happens. Working on getting budget done for that, so. And that was it. Yeah, that's it. Mark?
The Board of Health, in an interim meeting, I just go over the budget. Just see we get the budget with up to 6% type of raises. Went through things, lowered our overall look some, which is good. Also discuss staffing. We got a couple openings there. The one for sure was like 4 applicants for, which is good, and possibly one of those applicants maybe Jesse thought could work into the other position, so that would be good too. Continued discussion on wages and what we should be doing and can't be doing, and what we, it's same thing that's happened statewide and industry-wide, but everything's looking good there. At the local board for our workforce development, we had a meeting quickly to discuss what's going on in the state a little bit. With about a third of the state already backing out, not taking the funds and saying we're done. They can have it. Bring up the fact that, well, the state might say, well, you take any neighboring counties. Well, our attitude is right now, we're still struggling. I think everything's going good in our region, but why would we take on neighboring counties when they're disgruntled with what the state is doing anyway? So we weren't going to touch that. And I also had the WIOA, which is the state board, or we want to say coming in and doing our training, kind of telling us what's what and what's happening. So yeah, I'm probably going to get ongoing development there. At least our region right now, I think we're okay with what's going on. We're okay kind of with what's going on, and we'll try to continue on and keep it going. Could be changes coming statewide. We don't know yet. So depends on if anybody else drops out in the next couple of weeks. And, you lose a third already. The state that says, no, we're done. Somebody's got to pick that up. So.
Well, that's the worst part. They get into this stuff. It's like the mental health thing, same thing. They get you going instead of leaving them alone and see how things work out for a couple of years. The next year they're at on again. The next year they're on again. It's like, just let things simmer down. Let's get your system figured out.
Right. Well, there's been
Yeah,
so much back talk. I mean, they tell you one thing and then they make just 2 months later, you go back and you got to change it. And, if right from the get-go, why didn't they just tell us this is what it is? And okay, we're gonna have to deal with it. Instead, they make you go through all this process. You try to write up some of your own stuff. And then they say they accept it. And a month later, they say, no, that ain't gonna work. You can't do that. You can't hire these people. You can't, and it's, so they either need to get in or get out.
Yeah, exactly.
And just let it was working before. I don't know why they messed with it. But, so that's all I got, I guess.
Okay. Next week. Oh, did Renee get back to you? On March 13th at that 8 a.m.
Oh.
meeting?
But I'll have that in there.
So next Monday at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's an exempt.
Excuse me. I was thinking tomorrow we'll get it to be here at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, for drainage. Yeah.
We gotta be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But this is next Monday.
Yeah. When you said 8, I was just like, okay, good.
So that's a go.
Yeah.
Any other changes on there?
Yeah. Not that we're together.
In that case, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.